Hi, this is MotherMantiss. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with another video about Mass Effect. But first, I wanted to quickly announce that I'm going to be recommencing my live streams again, beginning with this Thursday at 10 a.m. And then I will be adding a second day into the week a little bit later on, and that'll be at a later time of day, probably later in the afternoon, because I know there's a few people that want to watch from different time zones. I am very lucky that I had a surprising number of viewers at the couple of live streams that I've done. I realize how lucky I am, and I'm extremely grateful. But I had expected either 0 or like 1 viewer. I never expected to be trying to learn the software, learn how to live stream, and how to manage chat while playing a video game. So I guess I got a little bit anxious and a little bit stressed out about that. So that's why I kind of stopped, but I think that I now have my issues sorted out. It was, of course, mostly operator error. But you guys have been incredibly gracious about that. And I'm in a better headspace now. And I think I've got my tech issues all kind of sorted out. So I'll be live streaming to begin on Thursday at 10 a.m. I'd really like to make it all the way through one game together with my community. I think that would be really fun instead of kind of starting the way I have. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore. All that to say that I hope you'll join me for that this coming Thursday. I really look forward to that. Anyway, one of the very first videos I ever put up was on how to get the best ending for the Mass Effect Trilogy. And I defined best as being that Shepard lives. So I used the destroy ending because that's the one where it's implied that Shep lives. That video has been viewed over 115,000 times as of the filming of this video, which is mind-blowing. But one of the comments that I get the most consistently on that video and some of my other videos are some version of, you're killing EDI, you're killing off the Geth, and that's how people justify why they think that maybe the synthesis or the control endings are better. Usually it's the synthesis ending because ultimately they don't want to kill their friends. And I see some fairly significant problems with arguing for both either the control or the synthesis ending, but that's mostly a topic for another video. But as far as the destroy ending, the problem is, according to them, that it destroys the synthetics, it takes out EDI, it takes out the Geth, and the mass relays are destroyed. So then what have you done? You made peace between the Geth and the Quarians for nothing. All that cooperation you fostered among all the galaxy races is wasted because the mass relays are dead and everyone is isolated from everyone else. And the Normandy is dead on some unknown planet, and Shep might or might not be breathing in the rubble of a destroyed citadel that's been completely evacuated and probably isn't even livable. Only, what if that's not true? What if destroy actually is the ending with the biggest upside? Hear me out. Okay, first, I think it's important to say that stories like this are completely individual. Just as you create Shep as anyone you want them to be, you pick the ending that makes the most sense to you and what you envision for your story. It's completely subjective. So there's no incorrect ending. However, I want to show you a few story moments that I think belie the idea that destroy really kills everything folks say it does, and why I believe it might be the best and most canonical ending moving forward for the series. The first thing to bear in mind, though, is that most authors choose their words carefully when they're writing a story. One word here or there can completely change the implication of a sentence, and one sentence sometimes can radically alter one's perception of what is actually happening in the story. For example, watch this clip of EDI talking about her just obtained new body.
EDI, you need to alert us about incidents like this. You shouldn't have done this alone.
Bringing the crew up to speed would have been counterproductive. All attempts to help would have been limited by reaction time.
So if you're in there, are you still in the ship?
I exist primarily within the ship. For optimal control, this unit should remain within Normandy's broadcast or tight beam range.
Okay, did you see it? She never says or even implies that she lives in that body. She lives primarily in the Normandy. Edie has become sentient and she's attempting to learn sapience. And that's why she keeps asking questions about topics that require emotional insight, common sense, and life experience. She doesn't gain those attributes intrinsically like humans do, or should anyway. We see Edie's body and we humanize it because we ourselves live in our bodies. Our body is us. And if our body dies, we're done permanently. But Edie's body is merely a construct. It's a tool for her to use. During the course of the gameplay and interacting with her, we anthropomorphize that body, and we forget that that body is not Edie. That body is a tool she uses, and tools can be rebuilt and repaired and started up again. And if they're too badly damaged, you can move the operating system to a new tool and boot it up again. If you correctly view Edie's body for what it really is, you realize that as long as the Normandy is functional, Edie is functional. She just can't walk that body past James to distract him anymore. And the Normandy is functional after the ending because we see it fly away. And as for Legion, Legion is in a different situation from Edie. The Geth operate on a kind of super connectivity with each other. They're not a hive mind like the Rachni are. It's more like they're a bunch of computers that are daisy chained together to create a super connected, super processing computer. Legion is kind of a super Geth in terms of his own greater processing power and ability to operate independently of other Geth. But Legion is not a separate individual being in the same way that Edie has become. He is still part of the Geth consciousness, whereas Edie is self-contained within the Normandy. Okay, next point. This next clip is Hackett giving a kind of a pep talk and debrief to everybody after the Reapers have been destroyed and Shepard is purportedly gone. Pay particular attention to Hackett's word choices in this statement.
The war is over. The Reapers have been defeated. Against all odds, and in the face of the greatest threat this galaxy has ever known, we survived. We suffered many losses. The relays are severely damaged, but we won. This victory belongs to each of us. Every man, woman, and child. Every civilization on every world. This wasn't a victory by a single fleet, a single army, or even a single species. If this war has taught us anything, it is that we are at our strongest when we work together. And if we can put down our grievances long enough to stop something as powerful as the Reapers, imagine what we can achieve now that they are defeated. It will take time, but we can rebuild everything that was destroyed. Our homes, our worlds, our fleets and defenses, all of this and more. Together, we can build a future greater than any one of us could imagine.
Did you hear it? Hackett never says that the mass relays are destroyed. In fact, he uses the words severely damaged when referring to the mass relays, and he uses those words in the context of a broader statement about how, despite the large losses in achieving the victory, they can and will rebuild. So why do so many people think that the destroy ending means that the mass relays are just gone? He never says that. He never even implies that they can't be rebuilt. And lastly, check out the Star Child's conversation with Shep in the last moments before Shep has to make his choice. The Star Child explicitly tells Shep that these things can be rebuilt. In my opinion, the Star Child wants Shep to choose synthesis. He refers to the melding of human DNA and synthetic programming as the next step in evolution, and he calls it either the perfect or the ideal solution.
Synthesis is the final evolution of all life.
And frankly, anything the Star Child wants is suspect to me. I comprehend what the synthetics get out of it, but I don't comprehend so much what the organics get out of that. But anyways, that's off topic, so let me get back to my main point. The Star Child explains the destroy option this way.
To be a new solution, you must act. It is now in your power to destroy us. But be warned, others will be destroyed as well. The Crucible will not discriminate. All synthetics will be targeted. Even you are partly synthetic.
What exactly will happen?
Your Crucible device appears to be largely intact. However, the effects of the blast will not be constrained to the Reapers. Technology you rely on will be affected, but those who survive should have little difficulty repairing the damage. There will still be losses, but no more than what has already been lost.
Reapers will be destroyed?
Yes, but the peace won't last. Soon, your children will create synthetics, and then the chaos will come back.
The Star Child says that the mass relays will be destroyed, but he says that as part of an encompassing statement about all the things that can be rebuilt. He never says that the mass relays are permanently gone or that synthetics are destroyed forever. Somehow people just assume that. If a natural disaster destroys your town, yes, it will take time to rebuild, and during that process, you don't have access to certain services that you were used to always. But it's temporary because you still have your technical knowledge, you still have your ability to build, you still have the resources to build with. So it's a temporary condition. With control or synthesis ending, you don't have to deal with rebuilding society. That's true. The infrastructure doesn't get destroyed. But look what you've traded away. You've traded away your personal agency, you've traded away your individualism, and you've traded away your uniqueness. At least that's my take. Anyway, all of these things put together, to me, imply strongly that all of the services, the mass relays, the Geth as a race, even EDI, can be rebuilt. Their absence or destruction is not a permanent condition. So let me know in the comments what you think of the points I've made and if you agree or not. I'll be interested to hear. And I'll see you at my live stream in a few days. Cheers.